All right, we're back, everybody. We're doing a new episode, Hop Smell Show. Got me, Hop.
String.
Hartman.
And they were doing, inspired by none other than Danny Crider. Gave me the idea weeks ago. Thrash has got the big four, so I figured, hell, if Thrash can have a big four, I think glam metal deserves a big four, especially if you're like the pioneers of the whole glam scene. But I figured I'd break it down in four, see what these guys had, and see what we come up with. I guess my number one, and I'm going by probably the first, these are the first four that I actually heard and listened to, and heard in middle school. So I'm going to go with Twist Sister. Ain't a whole lot, guys. See, we're not going to take it. I mean, Dee Snider. Stevie Good actually was talking about how much image based they were for the 80s, and he's probably right. I mean, they wore the makeup. It wasn't quite as much as Kiss, but for the 80s, they had the makeup scene going on. They didn't look like a bunch of pretty rock stars.
No,
but
they were not pretty.
They were not pretty. That's probably why they wore the makeup.
Well, you can see right here.
Yeah,
I mean,
man, look how pretty that is.
Look at D. Ain't he beautiful? But yeah, this could be my number four. I mean, Twist Sister, Stay Hungry. Great one.
Are we doing them in order?
Yeah,
I didn't think we was doing order, so I don't really have an order. So these are just ones that I think are the top four. Well, my four big bands. Pyromania. I mean, Def Leppard. This album was what I heard first and got me into more of that. I mean, growing up, I always had country music and classic rock stuff, but this is one of the earlier bands that I'd gotten whiff of and just blew me away. Just that power and that raw, just straightforward rock sound that they had. I mean, it was just a great album, and to me, there was a lot of bands that were influenced heavily by, that new wave of British heavy metal, and right here they were in it. So would say that's my number four, but I don't have it in order.
Good. Well, mine technically ain't in order. I mean, yeah, I can't really put them in order. But we'll go with this album. Spike, he's all about these guys. But did Matt Lang, Matt, whatever his name is.
Lang.
Yeah, Matt Lang.
Mutt.
Mutt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mutt.
He went on to marry Shania Twain.
Yeah. Did he do this album?
I think he did. I know he did. He did High and Dry.
Yeah, Mutt Lang right there.
Yes,
And
he did
theirs
those.
were-
Yeah.
He created their sound, I always thought. I mean, but their first album was rock real raw.
Oh, yeah.
Is this the first album he done? You know, Randy?
The
Did
first
do
album he
High
did
and
was
Dry?
High and Dry.
Alright.
Because he got whiff of, according to that movie, after the success of the On Through the Night thing. Because Hello America hit big over here while they were still over there. So the movie says.
Man,
That's a great movie, by the way.
I love On Through the Night.
I do too.
So raw.
Wasted.
and- yeah.
Get your
in
rocks
America.
off.
All right, so what you got?
Can't burn it. Can't burn it. Right here. Rat and Roll, baby, coming in at 4.
There you go, Hardesty.
That's for you. And speaking of you, Hardesty, hey Mike, how you doing? He would come down to there, and nobody flew the band flag more than Mike Hardesty, who came up with the thing. He would walk down there before he'd go into work, before the dumbass would go swimming. He's like, try to be Stephen Pierce. I feel slick and sleazy today. That's where that came from. And this was right here. We all sat down by the pool when it was our beach, and we played the living hell out of this one, and they deserved it, because this band right here, of that genre, never, ever made a bad album. And they were the greatest. This right here, this is just a masterpiece.
They don't have a bad song.
No, this
That's
right
first.
here, 4. Rat, this definitely changed my life forever. This is like the first glam thing that I ever bought. But right here, coming in right here, 4, Rat.
And you know,
There you
even
go, brother.
Round and Rounds played to death. and I
Played
still
to
love
death
it.
and lack of communication. And the video that Mike had, Rat, the video, that's an awesome video.
Yeah.
Well, you got that? Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
He had the beta.
But you remember, they wanted to be Bobby Bloxer always wanted to be a cowboy.
He wanted to be a
Oh, that's
cowboy.
right. Maybe Rob Crosby might say
Yeah.
that. I don't remember which one of them said it, but yeah, that Wanted Man was an awesome video, and there was a lot of good stuff on that.
Masterpiece.
But
4-star masterpiece.
hey, I'll just pick up. I don't really know what more needs to be said about this. I do know they're kind of in shambles right now. Rad is just. They need to hang it up.
Yes,
I mean,
they need to go.
They are just ruining their name so bad. I mean, I understand. I'd heard an interview with Stephen Pearcy where he said it is a machine, but gosh, don't destroy the machine completely.
He's already destroyed the machine.
Yeah.
I mean, Motley, Vince was destroying it, and Nikki said, "Hey, we got to quit. We're just going to completely ruin Motley Crue. We need to quit right now." But I wish Rat would do the same thing. I mean, I love Rat, man, but I don't like to see him bad, But yeah, I'm going to go. This definitely made one of my big four too, because when I was in middle school, this is one of the albums everybody talked about.
You were in that group of kids, which would be us. You didn't have that. You weren't one of the cool kids. You weren't one of the cool kids. You weren't one of the cool kids, and that's just oh god. I didn't know that was What's Her Face until recently.
Oh, I didn't know that
until
either.
that Catan.
Tecton.
And then on that EP, that's her legs.
Yeah.
I didn't know that till recently.
But see, because Rob Crosby and her dated.
Yeah.
And they both moved to California at the same time.
So that explains it.
Yeah,
But
I never knew that until here recently.
Yeah.
And what's wild, if you go on YouTube, there's an interview with Rob Crosby talking about O.J. Simpson. That's when he split. When she started seeing O.J., that's when Rob got out. He was like, that man was crazy. But, yeah, so Rat's going to be my number two of the big four, not in any certain order, but so I got Twisted Sister and Rat so far.
All right. So, I mean, basically when we decided to do this, it was not necessarily a specific album. It's just the bands that we thought that influenced a lot of other bands in that era, and, that kind of like the Metallica and the Megadeth and Anthrax and all, just the hair metal version.
Yeah.
All right, so Quiet Riot, great album, great band. I mean, there was so much that scene, just in the rock music at that time, and then these guys hit, and they were just influencing and creating little spin-off bands here and there, and just, I mean,
they took it to number one.
Yeah, they took it to number one. And, I mean, Metal Health. I mean, Come On, Feel the Noise. I mean, you can't tell me that you've never heard those songs and sang along with them. I mean, it's you can't. You
still
tell me
to this day.
Yeah.
You know who their lead singer is now? White Rats?
Yeah, it's that dude from
The guy we saw
Idol.
for Steel Panther when we went to Baltimore.
Yeah.
And he got
They
rattled because we were all giving him hell.
They vultured that
I mean,
kid.
terrible.
I didn't help matters, didn't he?
Yeah, I can't think of his name. He's that dude off American Idol.
Yeah, I forgot his name, but he was horrible.
But I don't know. Kevin DeBrow's pretty hard
Yeah.
to replace. But I give him props. It's like they got to do what they got to do. It ain't like they can just go out and bring Kevin DeBrow in. It's not like some of these other guys they try to replace.
He died so young.
Yeah.
I hated that. I think one thing I always felt bad for them, but that's the album they'll be remembered for. Nobody ever gives him any credit for the other ones because he didn't sell as good as that one. I thought that the second one was good, and I even liked the QR3 with Twilight Hotel. That's still one of my favorite songs the band ever done.
But it's like none of them ever lived up to this.
No, you can't top that one. Nothing.
Good one.
That's never going to happen.
So that's
What you got
my
next?
pick. What you got?
Well, next.
What's your number
What you
two?
got?
Oh shit!
Motley Crue.
These were the baddest band on the
Oh,
freaking
yeah.
planet back then, and nobody partied harder than these guys. Uncensored, the movie said so. This is the album right here. It's changed my life. And then I went out, I got this. Then I went out and bought Too Fast for Love. And then I was in intermediate school and he put out Theater of Pain. And I never looked back. These guys definitely had that time period, the youth in their back pocket, and they deserved it because those first four that came out from
Six
Fast for
figured
Love.
it out, man.
It was
Six.
they could not do no wrong. To this day, girls is what. That's a party album. And there's nothing wrong about going out and being with a bunch of hoes and sluts and hey with your friends. And before that, Cobain pussy came in and screwed everything up. That was the fun thing right there. There's nothing wrong with going out and having fun, and that album was fun, and they were a fun band. Definitely, all my memories of them are good.
Definitely the thing about the 80s. I mean, it was just, the music was for fun.
It was fun.
You had a good time. You hung out with your buddies. You jammed whatever album that was coming out at the time. And it was all fun, entertaining music. And I mean, it wasn't
really was
a lot of the BS shit that's coming out now. But
no, it'll never be that good again. And they were definitely the baddest band, in my opinion, in the land. No doubt about that.
Well, Nicky had all the image thing figured out.
They had it.
He might not be able to play bass good, but damn, he could write some good songs.
I always liked mixed guitars. I thought the one with the theater mascot and the one that had the bare boobs, I thought that was a masterpiece. All his guitars looked really cool.
All them guys played their part well. Tommy was a incredible drummer, and I think he held it all together at the beginning because he was by far the most talented one and then Mick come in, and Mick and Tommy were probably musically wise the talent, and Nicky could write the hits. They had it all. Vince was the pretty boy up front. I mean, they just had all the chemistry and look, image. And I had read in the dirt, they talked about Motley Crue was such a big machine, it pretty much almost killed them.
Yeah.
I mean, to keep up with, you had to live that lifestyle. They said they were these rock stars, and they lived it to the fullest. How they made it through the 80s.
Well, remember that tour they talked about with Ozzy? All those guys should be dead. Yeah. I mean, they had a gross out competition where Ozzy took a straw and snorted ant, for God's sake.
Well, lapped up Nicky's
piss.
Knocked Nicky out of the way to lap it up. And it's like, Tommy talking about taking Ozzy back to his room because he was all responsible for him. And Ozzy was shitting on the floor, wiping on the walls, and Tommy's like, I'm out of here.
I had to take a dump.
But, that's just the kind of stuff. And if y'all have never read The Dirt, if you want to know a lot about the Crew, and they don't hold nothing back in The Dirt, it's a pretty good biography.
Or just wait for the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Yeah, I'm getting pumped for that.
I'll definitely be there for that movie.
And they actually cut some new songs, too. I'm pretty excited about that.
And then we'll have to wait until that comes out so we can do another movie or video for what we previous to this one.
We'll probably have some more.
So it depends on when this one comes out. Then the other video we just finished up. Yeah, it's on rock music.
Yeah, I'm like
documentary
Randy,
and
I'm
music.
I'm stoked for that one. And I did posted on my Hops Hard Rock Heavy Metal Facebook page.
Go like it.
And input. But we did the Glam Big Four, and I didn't get a lot of response, but I got a couple. I got Brian Christ. He was in here with Poison, Cinderella, Rat, and Warrant, which
all good.
Yeah, that's four big powerhouses there. But I think if you go back and read it, he went back and commented on his comment saying that he removed Rat and added Motley. And then Hardesty went in and said, how can you drop Rat?
I can imagine how that argument went.
So then Hardesty, he threw up a good fit. He said Rat Crew, Poison. He's like, you have to mention Bon Jovi. If you're talking about, which he's right. John Bon Jovi might look like he's living on a prayer right now, but I tell you, back in the day, that man, he was the genre. He had the look and he had it all.
He was definitely a poster child.
Yeah. And then Jerry Lambert, which he said
I can't believe he put Ozzy on that list.
Oh, I know. But he actually had the four, he had Ozzy, Motley, Quiet Riot, and Wasp. But he said, he's like, there's really no big four. He said something about Priest and Maiden, which I don't know. I almost put Priest in the 70s.
Yeah, they were very well established already before the '80s,
And they weren't really glammy. I
yeah,
didn't
they were.
think.
No, they weren't
Yeah,
glammy.
I could see that making a list, but not.
Yeah.
Even Iron Maiden and maybe a British.
Well, remember me and you was talking about Van Halen, and you said you were really putting out. And then after Jerry put what he put, I was like, man, I could put Van Halen in with Priest and Maiden because that's they were in the '70s, tail end of the '70s.
Van Halen were very, very popular during the '80s, but they were already well established in the '70s. So, and that was kind of what made me pick some of my picks. I wanted bands that if they were in the '70s, they were hitting late '70s and just starting on the scene and not huge by any means. I wanted bands that were in the early '80s getting were building their fan base up and just showing everybody else what the whole rock and roll scene was all about and turning this band into a total different band because they're like, I want to be like that band, and that's kind of what I wanted to, when I was picking mine.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to go with.
Well, and there was some bands that that I would put in there. I mean, Rain and Stream probably agree with me. Dokken. You got to put Dokken in that same sentence. And the band I saw at M3, and I didn't think, and I know they're like down in the '70s, is Y&T.
Oh, definitely. Oh,
where that got overlooked, I will never know, because their stuff
and they're still going
talented.
strong.
Yeah.
Dave
M3,
Meniketti rocks.
They tore it up.
I mean, how they got all the way through the '80s and not be bigger than what they were, I will never know.
Down for the Count, still one of my favorite albums of that era.
I mean,
if we ever do an album of that era, that's going to be in my top 5.
I mean, we listened to like String Louie Bar some stuff, and I was just blown away. I was like, man, how did I not hear about these guys until now? And I'm sure there's other bands. I can't think of nothing right now.
We just figured out another video. We're gonna have to do one of the '70s.
Yeah,
Favorite
metal,
70s.
'70s metal.
Well, I know one band that's gonna get mentioned in there.
Yeah, who are they?
Or Kiss.
Or Kiss, no.
Which, I don't know, we Kiss, and Kiss done a good job in the '80s. Alice Cooper, there's another one.
That Kiss turned into a glam band then. I've flown the flag for them when nobody did. Nobody can say that band has always followed the musical trend. That's them, but Crazy Nights was their attempt to be Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
And look it up. I mean, strong album, but look how they look. They were wearing women's mascara, and for God's sakes, look at Asylum. She looked like a drag queen, for God's sake.
Yeah, they were definitely riding.
They were definitely just trying to keep up with what was going on. They definitely were glam.
And they didn't do bad. I mean,
I
they
thought the
survived.
albums were good.
They survived all that.
I loved
the
it.
'80s. They never got shoved under the rug.
They didn't. They hung in there. Their sales weren't as strong as what they did with the makeup with Peter and Ace. But by God, they put out some good music. Except for that X and sex stuff. That doesn't count. I hated that song.
Well, and it's like he mentioned, like Brian Chris was talking about Poison and Cinderella and Warrant, and it's hard. It was hard for me to. I mean, I looked at more of the pioneer angle of it, as far as Motley and Twist Sister, Rat, Quite Right. I mean, they were the originals. They were the first ones I gravitated towards. Mm-hmm. Not that there's anything wrong. I'm a huge Cinderella fan. I love Cinderella.
But it probably wouldn't be those bands if it weren't for these bands.
Yeah, because they made the Sunset Strip. Mm-hmm. But these guys, they were like the second and third generation.
Yeah.
I mean, Poison, Cinderella, I've always said that they were the second generation of all the hair metal stuff.
So another band back then that just took it hard and should have made it big was Black and Blue.
Yeah.
Those 4 that they did back then, Tommy Thayer now plays Tommy Freely. I mean, I'll tell you one thing, those first 4 are just excellent.
Oh, that first was amazing.
That first one's amazing. The second one's good. Nasty, Nasty Without Love.
Yeah.
And then the one that they quit for a while was In Heat. And they disappeared for years and years. I loved it.
Man, if I remember the first time I heard that first album, it was like, God, this is killer.
I chanced it. I was like, yeah, that's different. I loved it.
But we're going to go with, this is my next one. This is where it all started. This is the very first, friend of mine, Jerry Ritchie, he's gone now, but he introduced me to these guys, and there was no turning back after that. I mean, I've said 100 times, they opened the door, and man, they introduced me to this great stuff I listen to today, and it's all because of Quiet Riot. I mean, I got to give them all the props in the world for making me a metalhead.
All right, well, I'm going Motley Crue. Seems like we got a little trend going here. Other than the Rat, there's nothing wrong with Rat. I just didn't have them in my list. Motley Crue. I mean, we've said it earlier. I mean, they were. I mean, the image. We were talking about it back then. Image. Yes. Image sold.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what
they were trying to do.
That's what everybody wanted. They wanted something that was gonna make them big, and the crazier you were and the crazier you look, I think is what you had to have, because that's what worked. And with this album in particular, I remember kind of had a little bit of knowledge about Motley Crue at that time. This was, I don't even remember how old I was at the time, but I do remember we'd always go to Stanton and on Saturdays, and we'd go visit my grandmother, and we would sometimes go to the library. And I remember this album being in the bin at the library, and you could go, they had record players there, so you could go listen to them, and then you got the headphones, you put your headphones on so you could listen quietly at the library. And I remember listening to this album, and it just like, in the beginning, wow, what a just...
That was trippy.
Whoa, it was like...
That's freaky.
It was almost scary.
Yeah.
That almost like a
back then,
right in the face, man. That was quick.
Yeah, that one definitely...
I think even... y'all help me out, but I'm pretty sure somewhere on this album it says
right here
may contain backward
messages. Right here it says caution, this record may contain backward messages.
You tell me that Nikki didn't already know what
did that not sell records?
Yes, it did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they knew. They had it figured out. They had the image thing, and they wrote just enough hits to be huge.
Yep.
I don't have any albums, but I'll name them. Poison. When I went, the first time I saw them, I bought the cassette, Look What the Cat Dragged In. Yeah. I bought it at Kmart. I thought they were a bunch of chicks. I bought it, and that thing, I haven't played it lately, just blew me away. Cry Tough, I Want Action, Blame It On Me, number one bad boy. Yeah. Then that second album came out, and then Overplayed, Nothing But a Good Time came out. Boom. Yeah, they never look back. Fallen Angel, Every Rose Has Its Thorn, Your Mama Don't Dance.
Dude, they could do no wrong.
That band right there, I had a lot of fun with that band, boy. And I tell you what, that was Mike's second favorite, and they were torn together back in the day. Was Poison and Rat.
Yeah,
I loved it. They were as glammy as they could get. They had the image, they had the look.
They were definitely glammy.
By God, Brett got the chicks. By golly, I tell you one thing,
Well, he had Pamela before Tommy had.
Yes,
Pamela.
He did.
Way prettier than this guy.
Way prettier indeed. Brett had it going. I thought they were chicks. I loved it, and
it's funny because
I don't regret it.
Those types of albums, and you let kids, young kids now look at those and like, why were these girls on that? Yeah, it's just funny seeing reactions of kids on some of even like this. I mean. Like, why has that guy got makeup on?
Well, it's like Poison, man. They still, like, with the younger people, they still get a bad rap. And it's like, they couldn't have been, to be platinum as many times as they were, they couldn't have sucked.
No.
I mean, they had number one hit. And, yeah, I can go with the Poison thing. I can handle it.
I loved it.
I mean, the only reason they weren't in mine is, like I said, they weren't one of the original people I'd heard, but I've listened to my fair share of Poison.
Oh yeah,
I mean, I'm not ashamed to say I'm a Poison fan.
No.
So, and I actually went and seen them over the summer. My daughter wanted to go, and I took her, and pretty impressed. I thought they still got it, man. And it's the same four original guys. That's impressive.
That's what makes
for
it
nowadays.
special.
Yes, that's very unique.
That's a rare thing in today's world. That's special.
All right, so everybody knows who my number one's going to be. It's never a big shock. We always got to have a Motley Crue in here somewhere. But I'd almost say they've got to be in the top four for anybody. I mean, even the people that did reply, Brian Christ had to go back and drop Rat and add Motley. And, Hardesty's got crew, and even Jerry Lambert's got crew. Everybody's got crew. I mean, I don't even know if I don't even have to say anything.
We've already talked about it, so.
Yeah. But it's like, man, it's the Motley crew. I mean, they will be great forever, probably.
Well, my last. Stay Hungry, Twisted Sister. I mean, we've already talked about it. I mean, just innovators and just what was the name of the little documentary?
I was going to say their documentary is pretty awesome.
Yeah,
you should watch it, Randy.
Yeah,
you ever seen that?
That's good. Yeah,
put that on the list.
But yeah, and I learned a lot about this band that I didn't know. Because
that was even before they signed to Atlantic.
Yeah, that like early on, like these dudes were like packing the house and just
like 78.
Yeah, just like crazy and just crazy fans and just just the crazy shit they were doing. They were talking about, and then they closed up the one club and they got to come back and just tear the fucking place apart. Just they knew that I think the building was getting demolished or something, so they just went in there and just had a show and just demolished the place, just tore it up.
They were back in the house.
But yeah, I mean, I didn't realize how big they were before they were big. I mean, they were didn't have a deal. I mean, that was the thing. They just weren't signed, and they were huge. And just selling out places left and right in New York.
And the 2 albums before that. Solid album.
Solid album. Under the Blade and Can't Stop Rockin' and Roll.
I mean, they're both them albums.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're really, after this, well, I don't know. Me and Randy talked about Loves for Suckers.
I love it.
And that album's so overlooked.
Because the reason everyone overlooked it, people were so pissed off about that come out and play business.
Yeah.
When they did Love Is for Suckers, only the diehard remained. That was myself right here, and Eric Lewis flew the flag for that band, buddy.
Yeah.
And I remember driving in that big-ass station wagon of his and playing Love Is for Suckers, the tape deck. I loved it. That's still one of my favorite albums that band ever done. Hot Love, Waking Up the Sleeping Giant, and,
Yep, that's mine. You're up.
Well, mine, I have no vinyl, but I'm going to mention it. It can no surprise. Bon Jovi.
Yep.
I said it before. I had a catchphrase back then. I made it up. Chicks wanted to be with him, and guys wanted to be him. Anyone who says that are a liar. And myself included, I want to be with him, but I wanted to. I don't think so.
That you knew of anyway.
I don't want to. But when I saw him come out, really didn't pay much attention to the look. I was down here at the pool with another one of my good friends, Travis Rogers. At that time, we have 1,700 Fahrenheit come out. He had it recorded. This is a TDK tape. Good memory. You got to check this out. This band here is going to take over the freaking world. I'm like, well, okay. I took it home. He's like, bring it back. I'm staying with my grandma this week. Bring it back, before I go back home. All right. I played that cassette, and I was like, holy crap. You talking In and Out of Love, Only Lonely, Price of Love, Tokyo Road, Hardest Part is the Night. Silent Night. I tell you one thing, I was like, okay, I don't know about taking over the world, but this has definitely got my attention.
Well, they took over the world.
When that third one came out, they had the world, I'm going to pardon me, by the balls. Yeah. Everybody had Slippery When Wet. And till this day, that thing is still played, Wanted Dead or Alive. You give love a Brad name, Living on a Prayer. And there's not a bad song to be found, Never Say Goodbye. I remember when he came out and he had that look, it was the Fringe. Eric got the jacket first. I was like, where the hell did you get it? Oh, man, I got it at Chess King. I went out and I bought myself. I had the Fringe. I even put that moose in there and tried to look all pretty. I couldn't pull it off.
You didn't need the perm. You already got that going on.
I got that going on. I look like Gene Simmons on steroids. But anyway, whoops. But I tell you what, it was an honor to grow up with him. Those first...
Get your little blonde hair.
Little blonde, I would look like OD. Yeah. But I tell you what, those first 4 records today are just great. She Don't Know Me and Runaway and Roulette off the first one. I already talked about the second one, third one. The New Jersey, he gained a bigger audience.
Yeah,
I mean, there was a thing back when we were kids, and the road's still there, but it's not called that. It was called, I got LA had theirs, we had ours. It was called the Strip.
The Strip.
In Harrisonburg, Virginia, and people drove up and down that damn road. There wasn't a time I wasn't with Eric out with him half the night that night. Somebody drove up playing Bad Medicine.
Oh, my God.
Everybody played that, and Born to Be My Baby. And then when he put out that I'll Be There For You, girls are like creaming their panties. I mean, he had it all, and he deserved it. He had the look, he had the sound, and he had the musicianship. Richie Sambora, baby.
Sam Kinison was in Bad
Kinison, I loved it. I will fly the flag for them. And if Greg Morris was here, which I don't know if he'll ever resurrect, he'd fly the flag for him today. Bon freaking Jovi was my band back then, and damn it, I'm not ashamed to admit it.
Well, Mike Hardesty put it on social media, exact same lineup as you. So there's two people that think they're the pioneers of the Big Four.
Yep.
But
look what they did. I mean, when that grunge stuff came in, for some reason, a lot of the bands we mentioned didn't really survive. They did. I don't know how, but they did. Mm-hmm. They still could pack them in, while a lot of those bands were going to amphitheaters. Yeah. Bon Jovi, even though their music was crap after that, they were still putting them in. Mm-hmm. I remember it Keep the Faith.
Yeah, they're probably one of the
They were still packing them in.
Yeah, they survived. They're one of the
yes, they did.
Like I said, I look at the rest of these guys, and even Motley struggled, because, and theirs was like, I don't know, I guess a lot of people didn't get it, but, man, they were trying the Krabby thing, and, man, it's a shame that Electromate didn't get Vince back. I was talking to, his name's John Helborn, on my page, and we was kind of chit-chatting back and forth about Krabby and how, it's a shame that Vince had to come back. I mean, I'm a Vince fan. I love Shout the Devil. But, man, we got just a little taste of how great Krabby made Motley.
Oh, definitely. I tell you one thing. What would have happened if Krabby would have been allowed to stay? He gave him a masterpiece. Could you imagine what he would have done? Krabby didn't get the respect.
And you all first talking about that album.
Yeah. Krabby didn't get the respect he deserved, by God. He did. When that album came out, and Mark Rath was hosting that metal thing, the Next JM, he had the single for Hooligan's Holiday. I'm like, okay. I went out and bought it, and that first was it Power to the People, whatever, the first
Power to the Music.
Power to the Music. I was like, oh, shit, I'm hooked.
I listened to that on my way here.
I remember when they put up that EP, and I had to order it from that thing, metal disc, Quaternary. I was like, these are the songs that didn't make it. Shit, had to go over here to Food Line, get a money order and get it.
John Helborn told me there's a song called Hypnotize.
Yes!
I was like, where did this come from?
Where did this come from?
Yeah, like it's like a new track to me because I've never heard it.
Because you had those things you were living down here, because that's how I got Baby Kills and 1,000 Miles Away.
See, there's two songs that were on the Japanese.
Yeah.
Hypnotize and, I can't think of it right now, but I listened to that one. I'm like, God, these two songs rock too, man. And they were leftovers.
Yeah.
And it's like, is there any more
leftovers? There any more leftovers? If they ever decide to release a 50th anniversary of that with more things, I don't care how old it is, I'll have it.
Yeah. I hope Nikki decides.
Crommy!
I hope Nikki decides and just get off his, come on, just release it. We all want to hear it.
Yep.
I know you had trouble writing with him or whatever, and it might have took forever, but damn, it was worth it. But that album, I think Vince churned out a decent solo album.
That was good. Was
Exposed? I mean, of course, he had Stevie Stevens, so he tore shit up. I mean, he's an awesome guitar player in himself.
I was kind of disappointed that he didn't release that song, You Can't Change Me.
Yeah.
What if that song was thrown back at them? Because you kind of think of the lyrics, you can't change me into something that I'll never be.
Yeah.
You'll never know.
Well, it's like, y'all ought to go on and listen to Krabby talk about, they interview him talking about the self-titled album. And there's one song on, I can't think of it right now, off the self-titled that's about Vince. It's like they're just bashing Vince something off. And John's like, man, do you really want to do this? And they're like, yeah, we want to do this. And I mean, something fierce.
I think what was sad about that band, that whole lucrative run with crabby that didn't last long. That it was upsetting to me. The record label, he's got to go. You get rid of a guy who can sing and actually gave them a heavier sound, who played guitar in their band. You bring old Vince back and you give us Generation Swine, please.
Yeah.
I mean, I bought that thing the first day and I thought, okay, the boys are back in town. I think I threw the damn thing up against the fucking wall. I was so pissed off.
Man,
I hated it.
I try to love on that album because, man, I've crewed through and through, and it's just, man, it's like there's maybe half the album I can tolerate.
I don't even know if I tolerated that much.
I remember Tom from Townie Campus told me he heard about a show that Motley Crue played on that tour, which I don't know where they played. People were chanting old shit when they were playing. Like when the fans are throwing that back at you, it's time to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. We could talk about some of this stuff. We can probably talk about all day, but just leave some comments if you got anything you want to comment. That little section strings point to down there, and subscribe and like and all that happy stuff, and go on my page and check that out. And if you got anything you want to talk about, any show ideas, shoot away, fire away. We'll do. Or if anybody wants to be a guest, we do them all the time. So
got to be in the Harrisonburg, Broadway, Timberville area.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's our turf.
So if you're not around this area, you're going to have to make your way here.
Yeah, because I keep forgetting we are on YouTube. We've probably had people watching that are far, far away from here. So
Let's hope anyway.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yep.
It's all about talking about music, sharing that it's still out there and still alive and kicking.
That's right.
So we're out of here. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Peace.
That was fun.
You could bring up.